Hi everyone, it's Andy from Hobby Headquarters, and today we're going to start building the Tamiya 1/35 scale Panther G with steel wheels. So let's get started on it. Wanted to give everybody a updated little video tour of my store. A few people were asking about it. I did some changing around. I got some new racks for the discount area for the magazines and such, and then I've also added a lot more room up to the front here. This is our little build area, some of the display cases. Did a little changing around back here as well, adding where the tools are, the aisle of paint. And then I've added a little more shelving in the back over there as well to hold more model kits. Did all this last week, and the day after I got it all done, we had a flood in the store. So that's why there's a little bit of staining on the bottom down there. We're going to get taken care of, and that's why there hasn't been a video for the last week and a half, because I was dealing with the changing everything around and then the flood that we had. So, but that's all taken care of now, and back on to modeling. And one more thing I'm going to add before we start painting is all the little photo etch parts that Tamiya sold separately to do all the grates in the back, which you don't have to do a lot of photo etch, but these things really do make it pop out quite a bit. And because they're metal, you have to use super glue on it. So easiest thing to do is first is to dry fit them in, see where the connection points are going to be, because you don't want to get any glue in the middle of the grate because you're going to be covering up any of the detail that you'd have. So seeing how that fits right there, pop this grate out now. I guess we don't need to glue this one in. This one looks like it wants to stay on its own. There we go. So we'll just put a couple little drops in the very corner, just to make sure it's not going to come off. And this way, by putting the drops in the corner, you're not going to cover up any of the grates and get a solid spot when you go to paint. And then you just want to make sure it's down in all the corners. And then the same thing holds true when it comes to the round disc of photo etch for that. Just run a real thin bead. go. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of those on, and then we're going to get to painting. Okay, for the build of this kit, I've decided to go ahead and use the metal track links made by friulmodel. These are very nice links. They're all molded and individual. They're all hollowed out and ready to go. What they do is they give you some metal wire right here that is used to pin the tracks together just like a real track would go together. So they're completely workable, and because they have a lot of weight to them, they have a nice natural sag. One little trick I can show you is that I think makes it a little bit easier to put these together is I like to use just regular staples, standard size staples. I will take the standard size staples in a little bunch like this, and then taking a pair of pliers, we want to flatten out, oop, can't hold on to it, flatten out one side of the staple so you get like an L. And what you're going to do with this right here is you break off one staple at a time, and I started putting a little run of them here together. You line your tracks up, and because the staple is square, it's actually not round stock because of the way they make them, it'll slide nicely inside the little piece right here, and line that up, and that actually gives you a little extra something to hold on to while you're pushing it in. And once you push that in, the track is fully workable, but because the staple is square, it will not want to fall out like round wire will. They expect you to super glue the wire into place if you're using the brass wire that comes with it. The only problem with that is if you get any extra glue on here, you can glue the track together so it doesn't work as well. So once you get to that point right there, you just nip the tip off right there, and you've got a fully working set of track. And that part's going to go on the inside of the vehicle anyway, so you're never going to see it because they've got a nice molded edge. For a few of you that are not familiar with friulmodel are very nice tracks, but the one downside from them is they're very expensive. In the United States now, a set like this is running about $65 to $70 a set, which is really, really high. It's more than the kit itself. They are very nice, but I decided because of this kit, I haven't done these before, I go ahead and do a set of these on here and show you what they actually look like. I quickly just put a few tracks together to show you what I was talking about and see how the actual individuals actually work on this. Like I said, they are expensive, but they do look really nice on the vehicle. So I'm going to go and finish up all of these right now, and we're also going to get to painting on the vehicle. Okay, we got all the photo etch on the back here. I've also gone ahead and added an R&B metal barrel. I think it looks really nice on these kits, and plus it doesn't have that seam we have to worry about painting, or excuse me, sanding. Now we're going to go ahead and spray the entire model with XF69. This is going to be the shadow coat. Okay, now we're going to work on our highlight coat. This is going to be XF2, which is the flat white, and what that's going to give is our tone variation when we actually put our base coat of the dark yellow on. Okay, that's the general look we're going to go for with the black and white shadow and light coat. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a XF60 And we're going to go over lightly over the entire thing, and you'll start to see the two tones pop out. Okay, that's the entire model painted with its base coat of dark yellow, and hopefully you can see the tonal variations with the black and white as an undercoat. Okay, now we're going to add our NATO green camouflage next. After the paint dries, I took the model outside and I sprayed it down with Tamiya's TS80, their flat, dull clear. And that's going to completely protect the finish as we go on forward to do any weathering. In this step right here, I've mixed together 60% NATO brown and 40% NATO black to make a chipping agent. It'll look really good on all the edges, and I'm going to go around and start chipping any of the edges that would get worn and have a little bit more beat up than the any other part of the tank. Okay, I've gone ahead and finished up the chipping. Did a lot of it around the edges. Hopefully you can see a lot of it in through there. So the next step we're going to do now is put on all the decals. Okay, now that the tracks have dried, I've taken one of my sanding sticks and just lightly gone over the top right here, and that's going to bring out all the little cleats back in the bare metal. So you might get a little flicker of bare metal as we do this next part. What we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of Vallejo's Desert Dust, and we're going to mix it on and kind of just start adding it over the entire track. Little piecemeal on it. And then we're going to take, let's see, this one right here. We're going to take the light sienna, and using it mixed while this is still wet, start clumping it inside and just kind of blending it and forcing it into all the little nooks and crannies. And we're going to go ahead and let that dry, and I'll show you what it looks like. After I let the pigment and wash dry together, I went and added a touch of burnt sienna into it as well and blended it back in right there. And that's the kind of look I think it actually looks pretty good with that. It's got some dirt and dust in it, but it also has a little bit of the tarnish that went on. So we're going to put it on the vehicle now, and then we'll do the same or similar to the road wheels to blend it all together. Okay, I went and did the exact same thing I did to the tracks, to the all the road wheels here, and also did the inside of the track too, because if you were to try to do it all flat, most of it will wear off. You'll also notice too that you can still see just faint representation of the bare metal from where the tracks are wearing it off. So the only other thing I'm going to do in this area is I'm going to put some more of the mud up inside the wheel well in here, and I'm going to use some of the Vallejo thick mud. Yeah, I've gone ahead now and I've put a little bit of the wet mud up inside there. It'll dry a little bit, and we'll probably even dust it a little bit with some of the matching pigments on there. But I think that tone is starting to turn out really nice with that. Okay, now I'm going to use a little of the new weathering effects, the streaking grime. And we're going to put a little bit up on some of the areas in the turret here. And then what you do next, taking kind of a dry brush, just start pulling it down, kind of just to make some subtle marks on it. And we'll go over the rest of the vehicle and do it in a few other little areas before we put the tools on and such. Now I'm going to take some of Vallejo's wet mud, and I've put it up along the bottom leading edge of the vehicle here, as you see a little bit come up on it. Also notice too, while you're assembling the tracks and using the staple with that little L, I have left that last one in like that if I have to take the tracks out, I can just grab that little piece, pull it out, and the tracks come apart and we can take them off. I'm still working on the other set of tracks right now. There's a lot more work involved than just the rubber bands, obviously, so that's why I've been working gradually on this portion of the vehicle. I've been adding a little bit of mud up and through here, a little bit of caked mud on the back, and it'll dry, and then we can add a little bit of the pigment to it to blend it into what we've already done. The last thing I went and did is I went and gave the top a coat of XF57 buff, just lightly to dull down some of the surfaces on here. We went and put some oil stains and things like that on the back. Plus we also went and put on the extra tracks, which I put a little bit of like a rust dirt coat on, similar to what we did on the regular tracks down here. Plus we all put on all the regular tools down there as well. I think this has worked out pretty good, using those Vallejo pigments and washes and their mud effect. It really makes a nice effect on the vehicle. Gave it a slight dirty, dusty effect, but not too overdone. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep tuned. I have another giant train that I'm going to be building real soon. That video should be out hopefully within the next week here. And now that all the situation is taken care of in the store, we'll be back to a regular basis of usually at least one, maybe two videos a week. So thank you for watching, and have a good afternoon.